Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. It is Friday, March 13th. I'm Peter Martin. In the studio with me, we have Alan Rough and Barry Ferguson. They are here to talk about football, and we are heading into uncharted waters in the SPFL, and here's why. Football suspended north and south of the border. Our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi picks up the story.
Welcome to Hampden Park, where behind me this morning the Joint Response Unit of the SPFL and the SFA confirmed that all football across the country will be postponed until further notice due to the imminent threat of coronavirus. The games had been expected to go ahead this weekend. They went ahead last night, Rangers losing 3-1 at home to Bayer Leverkusen in the Europa League. 50,000 people there in Govan. But after several cases in England, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta, Chelsea winger Callum Hudson-Odoi, both testing positive for the virus, the Premier League and now the SPFL have stepped in and said enough is enough. Games will be off. That comes in line with the rest of Europe. All of the leagues across Europe are suspended except the German Bundesliga, which will be played behind closed doors. But games are off starting today. There was Ayr Queen of the South in the Championship meant to take place, as well as Motherwell Aberdeen in the battle for third, but that will be off. The Old Firm on Sunday will not take place. We'll have to wait and see until that can happen. For Scotland, they were meant to be playing here on Thursday, the 26th of March against Israel. That looks ever increasingly unlikely to happen. UEFA will have a meeting on Tuesday where Ian Maxwell will be Skyping in to take part in that to see what happens there, and also with the postponement of Euro 2020 looking likely and moving it to the summer of 2021. Other news from UEFA this morning confirms that the Europa League and the Champions League has been halted, so Rangers will not play next week in Germany against Leverkusen. It was meant to be behind closed doors, but that is now off as well, and there will be no draw for the quarter-finals of either tournament. So all football off in Scotland, in England, in Europe and across the world.
Yeah, so it is indeed an unprecedented situation that we find ourselves in. This is what the statement looks like from, first of all, the SFA on this coronavirus. In fact, this is Neil Doncaster of the SPFL. As everyone knows, this is a fast-moving and unprecedented situation for the entire country. We've been in intensive and detailed discussions since last night, and have also been taking on board the experience of our counterparts in England and across Europe. As a result, the board of the SPFL has agreed this morning that all league fixtures this weekend and next midweek will be postponed until further notice. The health and safety of fans, players and officials is absolutely paramount. We have not yet had any confirmed cases of coronavirus amongst players in Scotland, but given the nature of this outbreak, it seems only a matter of time. We realise that many people will be bitterly disappointed, and we would obviously prefer to be in a position where we can continue as normal, but that's neither realistic nor possible. So that's from Neil Doncaster. What about the SFA on this one? This, of course, this is a joint response on this from lots of groups on the postponement. The joint response group can confirm the decision of the Scottish FA to suspend all domestic football until further notice. As a result, the SPFL has announced the postponement of this weekend's and the following midweek fixtures. The SFA and SPFL will continue to liaise with governments and UEFA in relation to domestic European international fixtures in the coming days, and more information will be communicated at the appropriate time. The SFA board made its decision in the interests of the health and safety of players, match officials, staff, supporters and the general public. So that joint response sums it all up, really, where we are with this virus. Safety of every individual and one individual of paramount importance here. Is it the right call? Is it early enough? Is it in time in your mind, Roughie?
It's the right call, there's no doubt about that. It's good that everybody's come out singing from the same hymn sheet. I think we just have to wait. I think we'll all be disappointed, all football fans out there. It's an important part of the season, but we just have to wait and just go what we're told through the obviously different decisions.
Yeah, as far as managers are concerned on this one, Stephen Gerrard commenting after last night's game says the health of individuals comes first.
Well, I think all you can say, or all I want to say, is the important thing is the people, us, is protection from situations of, this virus growing and people, continuing to spread. I think the first thing has to be people's health.
Yeah, I think Stephen Gerrard echoing the sentiments of everyone, the needs of each individual of paramount importance with this coronavirus. Nobody knows to what extent it's going to escalate. Nobody knows what the next measures will be or information coming down from the government. But all we do know is that the league is suspended until further notice. The big question for everyone is what happens if we can't get the games played, Barry?
Yeah, if you're asking my opinion, I've been watching pretty closely for the last 24 hours and it looks like the virus hasn't totally hit yet. So I think it could go on another 6 to 8 weeks, Peter. So then there's big discussions and sitting down round the table to try and see where we go for there. Because I can't see any football getting played. For me, health comes first. It's more important than football. We all love our football and we love to watch it on a Saturday or a Sunday. But for me, there's going to be big decisions needing to be made. Yeah,
if we can't get the games played, who is awarded the league title? Who gets relegated? Will there be a title winner? Will there be relegation? At the moment, the SPFL, I think, is adamant that the league is not void because it is an ever-developing situation. But if it was to be cut off at this point, Neil Lennon reckons that there's only one team that should be awarded the title.
Well, we'd be the champions. Yeah, rightly so. We're 13 points clear. And then I think in most of the other leagues, like Dundee United, they'll have to be promoted as well.
So Neil Lennon saying Celtic should be the champions and Dundee United should be promoted as well. You think he's talking rubbish, Roughie?
I think he's talking rubbish. It's his opinion, but I would have liked to have thought that we would have had a rule in place for this scenario, not a virus, but a rule if for whatever reason the season couldn't be finished, because I think there's too much ifs and buts right through the league, not just Celtic winning it. There's other decisions, European decisions, top 6, relegation. And it's hard because there's a lot of teams have played more games than others. So everybody will have a case to put out there of why it should or shouldn't be. I can appreciate where Neil Lennon's coming from, but I don't think Rangers would agree with that, with so many points still to be played in the league.
Yeah, so is it basically a situation, what's your take on it then, if we can't finish the games? If we can't finish the games, give us your thoughts on what happens with the likes of Celtic, Hearts and everybody else.
I think, unfortunately, it'd be a void league. I think nobody would be status quo. And it's a sore one to take, but unfortunately that's the only way I think we can do it, unless we can do it behind closed doors and finish the season.
And if they can't finish the season, then nobody gets a title?
Void season.
Barry?
Well, I'm in a position with my own club just now. We are 6 points clear, our closest challengers, albeit they've got a game in hand. I get asked the question the day for one of my board members, and obviously I want to go and play it and win it outright, but obviously with this virus coming in, it's a difficult one. Hopefully we can come to a solution that I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, that we get the games done behind closed doors. I think that's the only way that I think everyone would be happy. I think if you asked all managers and players, that's the way they would want it. That's certainly the way I would want it. As I said, then you play your games and you see if you win or lose them.
If we can't get this league back up again with fans attending, if we play behind closed doors, let's say we resolve the issue of winners and losers, even behind closed doors, I think some clubs are facing financial difficulty. I wouldn't go as far as to say ruin, because I don't know everybody's exact penny in the bank, but I think some clubs will be seriously close to it.
Yep, and Peter, I agree with you. I'm talking Premier League right down to the bottom of League 2 and then into the league that I'm involved in, the Lowland League as well. I think a lot of these clubs rely on people coming through the gates. They live month to month with hospitality and obviously people buying stuff at the snack bars, i.e. pies or bovrils. So I think the next 3 weeks is going to be critical for a lot of these clubs.
Yep, it's worrying times, of course, shut down right across Scottish football. In the background, though, Neil Lennon on the verge of taking on Rangers at Ibrox. That game is now not happening, and we don't know when it's going to take place. But Neil Lennon says in the background at Celtic, it's business as usual.
Well, we'll give him a couple of days off, and then hopefully come Monday we'll have a better idea of, you know, what's ahead of us in the future. It's unprecedented, you know, and I've never experienced anything like this in my career, and I'm sure everyone's in the same boat. But you know, the gym's here for the players to use if they want, you know, and then we'll try to get back to business as usual. It has been business as usual. We were praying for the game and looking forward to it.
Yeah, not a great day to announce a 5-year kit deal with Adidas. It should have been all singing, all dancing, streamers everywhere, but it's almost been, you know, forgotten about.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because we all know that a big signing like that is usually muted by a lot of, you know, roars and cheers, and it is a fantastic deal, and that's where the success of Celtic has come in, and that's why they keep putting money into the coffers, because they're being successful.
Yep. Now, Celtic obviously we're looking forward to that game. We were certainly looking forward to it because obviously we were going to be looking at that game in great depth. Motherwell against Aberdeen won't go ahead tonight. There are big decisions to be made. Obviously, Roughie doesn't feel as if there could be champions, doesn't feel as if there could be anyone going out of the league. I just wonder in this scenario as it escalates, Barry, you and I thought that maybe this is the perfect time for them to look and say, you know, expand the league and bring other clubs into the Premiership and expand the leagues down south, you know, in the Championship, League One and League Two. The reason I mention that is because there are talks going on looking at that for some of the Lowland League clubs.
Yeah, I think they're looking to do it. I think it's 21-22 season. Now I think obviously it's not a great time to do it with the virus and people being affected, but I think it's a time now to sit down and maybe really consider it and bring it forward. I'm a big believer in, I think that's the way to go forward for Scottish football, Peters and the whole. I think it'll make the Premier League and the Championship more interesting, and also it gives clubs that are trying their best to get into the leagues, to get that opportunity going. So I think it's a way forward. Look, people might not agree, but I've been saying it for 2 or 3 years now. I think it's the only way to kick our football on and kick our leagues on.
Yeah, you don't agree, Roughie?
I don't agree that it should happen this season. I do agree it should happen eventually. I agree with everything that you're saying, but to just do it right now because of what's happening, I think these kind of things, like Barry's just said there, it's in place in 21-22 for them to discuss it. You know exactly where you stand. I think there'd be too many clubs would be up in arms for whatever reason. They would all have their own case to fight, and I don't think it would go through at all.
Okay. What about last night? What did you make of it, Barry? It was, in the end, Rangers, their game, the return leg won't take place, but this leg at Ibrox, it was always going to be tough. What's your take on the defeat from Bayer Leverkusen?
Look, they're a good team. I was, if I'm being honest, Peter, watching the game, I expected a lot more for Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah. I thought they were good. They weren't a great team. I thought Rangers in the first half gave them far too much respect. Sat off them, let them play. It was better in the second half. Obviously made a change to the system. Canberra come on, they were getting a bit more in their faces, and I think that's the way you've got to play. I know you're coming up against strong opposition, but when you're at home, you've got the crowd behind you. Get in their faces and make it difficult, and I thought Rangers didn't do that in the first half. Second half was better, but look, I'm not going to kid them down. Bayern deserved to win the game.
Yep, I think showing them too much respect is something that is also shared by the Rangers manager, Steven Gerrard.
I think the scoreline's a tough one for us to take. You know, I think losing 3-1 at home at Ibrox is always going to be tough and disappointing. I think you have to pay respect to the opposition. Good team, real good style about them, and some real high-class individuals. I thought in terms of Rangers we were too respectful in the first 45 minutes. We had a good shape about us, good organisation, but we were passive within that shape. We weren't aggressive enough.
Yeah, in the end, I think most of us actually thought that over 2 legs, this would have been too high a mountain for Rangers to climb. Maybe they should have got into their faces. I think Stephen Gerrard says at one point Matt Polster should have taken one for the team and wiped out Bailey at a point when obviously it was really, what do you do? What do you suggest to players, when you've got a situation where you've got a dilemma, you go or they score a goal?
Yeah, I can see where he's coming from. I say to my own team, my own boys at times, that you have got to take a booking, Peter, and just go on and get back into your shape and your formation. Honestly, over the 2 legs, I did think Bayern were going to be too strong, but I expected more of Rangers. I thought the first 45 minutes was disappointing, but you can clearly see they're a team low in confidence. Too many players, not playing at the levels that they were previous. And I keep going back to it, the change in the Rangers team for the first 6 months into the winter break to now, it's night and day.
Yeah, the other thing about it, Roughie, we're now in a situation where the second leg's not going to be played at the moment. But European football is on hold. They some countries are slightly ahead of Great Britain as far as this coronavirus is concerned. So the potential for them to be playing European football is grim as well, and we don't know when that's going to kick back in. Who'd have thought Liverpool will still be awarded the champions of Europe for 2 years after being knocked out? Because that's the way it's looking, Roughie.
Yeah, I can't see that happening either. No way. No way.
No, you're not having that?
No, having that.
What do you do then?
You just don't give it to anybody.
Yeah, so Liverpool remain champions then?
For last year, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Once this year's up, they hand it back.
so there's just a big giant void. You don't get to keep it. No. Right, okay, there you are. God, I'll tell you one thing, Roughie, you've upset everybody in the whole of the country. No. It's not Dundee United fans, it's Celtic fans are getting no title, and Liverpool, you can forget about it as well. Listen, there is a dilemma though, because I think Euro 2020 will go, Roughie. I think they'll stop and say, look, we've got to try and finish this based on the way the government information comes down to the appropriate leagues in each country. I think they'll look, if they can get through this pandemic, they'll look to try and finish going into the summer. And I think that's at the cost of Euro 2020. What's your take?
No, I think Euro 20's gone. I don't know how you...
That's what I said.
Yeah, I don't know if you can have it next year. I don't know if the feasibility or whatever else is going on with other events, but that seems a sensible one. But if you're going to hand out stuff, just give it to Spain. There's winners.
Yeah.
Since that's the road we're going down.
He just won't let it go, Barry. You see, once his back's against the wall, he just lashes out. It's as simple as that. Listen, a couple of things to finish. The worrying thing, and this was always going to be the dilemma which I think down south faced. We started with coronavirus, we're going to have to end with it, is Mikel Arteta, Callum Hudson-Odoi have contracted the virus. The EPL in England were ahead of Scotland on this decision. First and foremost, they looked at it like so many other European companies. This is what they had to say. Above all, we wish Mikel Arteta and Callum Hudson-Odoi speedy recoveries and everyone else affected by COVID-19. In this unprecedented situation, we are working closely with our clubs, government, the FA and the EFL. I can reassure everyone the health and welfare of players, staff and supporters are our priority. Despite the challenges, it is the Premier League's aim to reschedule the displaced fixtures, including those played by academy sides, when it's safe to do so. In this fast-moving environment, further updates will be provided when appropriate. And that's, I think, all our wishes, is that people stay safe. Losing one life is a life too many. As far as the end of the season and getting the games, we'd love to see football back. We'd love to see it with fans. If it's behind closed doors, then so be it.
Yeah, I think that is, if that is the only solution, then we've got to go. But look, we're all football people. We love to go and watch games. Love to watch it on TV as well. But listen, this virus is a concern. Health is the most important thing. But if we can come up with a solution to play behind closed doors, I think the players and the managers and the coaches or whatever, and even the supporters would just want it to play at an end.
The one bit of good news, hopefully, from your point of view, is that PLZ Soccer and Peter and Roughie's football show continues. We are continuing. Roughie and I will be ding-dong, arguing with each other, falling out. It's as simple as that. Barry will be in there throwing a few grenades in there just to try and annoy the life out of everyone. We are still here Monday to Friday. We'll be talking about football, old games, new games, hopefully games coming up in the future, great players of the past. We'll be mixing it in and giving you your daily feed of football chat. If you get a chance, join us on Facebook Live. We are so disappointed we won't get the watch along this Sunday with Rangers against Celtic, but health and safety comes first at all costs, at any cost. So with that in mind, when the Rangers-Celtic game is rescheduled, we'll all be back with our flip-flops on, ready for that game. If you want to give us your opinion, at PLZ Soccer on Twitter. Facebook Live, you should join us on it, you'll enjoy it. Usually there's a bit of feisty arguing going on. And also, PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, you get Peter and Roughie, you'll get the podcast. Tommy Sheridan is our guest this week, and he's certainly been explosive to say the least, mentioning Real Madrid, Gretna, Fidel Castro, Dixie Deans, and who'd have thought Tony Benn thrown in for good measures. Really good chat with Tommy Sheridan on the podcast. Still time to win yourself a car with Arnold Clark and the Peugeot 3008. If you want to be in that competition, go to our Facebook page now and enter the competition. So, have a safe weekend. There won't be football on offer for you, but there'll certainly be football chat. We'll be back on Monday and we'll be there for you in your hour of need when you're in the house with your family. You can still tune in to Peter and Roughie's football show. From Roughie, from Barry Ferguson, and from myself, Peter Martin, it's not null and void. On our show, we'll be handing out trophies for winners and losers if you join us on Monday.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.